What's up, y'all?
Let's go.
Welcome to another episode of Young and Married.
Yeah.
Today is a little bit different because we are talking to you about an MSC cruise from Genoa, Italy. And we want to talk to you about boarding day tips and what you can expect.
Let's go. It's going to be good.
This is a fun one
Right.
because we're showcasing another aspect of what we like to do as a married couple, or at least trying to get into even more, which is traveling together.
Right.
So this one was fun. Now,
Right.
this one we did do with our kids.
Yeah.
So that always adds just other elements. But
Right.
it was a great trip. It was for my 40th last year.
Yeah.
And we want to share some of that with y'all.
And we learned so much.
We did learn a lot.
Listen, traveling to Europe
Mm-hmm.
is an adventure on its own.
Yeah.
When you include kids, it's next level. So we
Mhm.
have some tips for you today.
Yeah.
But we also want to help empower your marriage, right?
Yeah.
And your family,
Mhm.
and some ways that you can enjoy life. But also, when you go to Europe, right, it's not the time to fight. It's not the time to be at odds.
Yep.
But we want to give you some tips today that you can practically vacation well, and maybe you want to leave from Genoa.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right?
Yeah. So listen, for us,
Yeah.
we have several tips that we would share, but the number one thing is for boarding day, please make sure you have proper documentation.
Yeah.
And you may think, Jen, that is a no-brainer, but guess what? On this MSC cruise from Genoa, Italy, we realized we would need more than just our passport
Yeah.
and a digital boarding pass.
Right.
They had documents that they wanted us to print, and they said in bold when they
Yeah.
email you the documents, these must be printed prior to your boarding.
Right.
So it's not like cruises that we've taken that leave from a United States port,
Right.
where you can have everything just on your phone and
Yeah.
scan it.
Yeah.
So tip number one, whatever they tell you to print, believe them.
Yeah.
You know how they say when people show you who they are, believe
Yeah,
them?
yeah.
When MSC says print these papers, believe them.
Right.
Thankfully, I am that person that is very type A. I don't like certain types of surprises. And so for me, those things were printed like 1 to 2 weeks before we even
Let's
had to
go.
leave.
Let's go.
I printed everyone's documents. I put them in an envelope. They were in the backpack that I knew I was going to be traveling
Yeah.
with, and we were ready to go.
So that's a really good one.
Yeah.
Because you are, as you said, type A.
Yeah.
And you're more, you take the lead on that.
Mm-hmm.
So we were well prepared.
Yep.
Because you did your research, and we didn't have any issues getting on the ship and
Right.
standing in line or waiting in line because we didn't have anything printed.
And we didn't even really have a line,
Yeah.
which was great.
Yeah.
We loved our experience with MSC.
It's quite different than leaving from the U.S., right? Taking
Yeah.
a cruise from the U.S. and you always have, or you often have long lines
Yeah.
and things like that.
I don't know how they
this
did
was
it.
quite different, yeah.
I don't know how they did it, but I think the only thing that would have held us up is if I hadn't had those documents printed.
Yeah.
But they were welcoming. I showed them my documents, and it's like maybe for very little when they were checking our security.
Right.
I mean, checking our bags for security.
Right.
There was a few people ahead of us, but it
Right.
wasn't just this massive
No.
onslaught of people at one time.
It was-
so that was pretty efficient.
It was very efficient. So we like that. Let's go to tip number 2.
Yep.
Tip number 2 is to make sure you don't pack more than you need to pack.
Yes.
Because if you stay near the port, right, you're probably going to walk to the port.
Yeah.
And it's hot if you do it in the summer. And if you're doing it with family, it's going to be a hike. So make sure you don't overpack.
Yeah.
Pack exactly just what you need. And then if you want to pack light, that's probably smart as well.
Absolutely.
Because when they tell you that the streets and sidewalks are cobblestone, they're not lying.
They're not lying.
They're not
y'all.
lying. It's going to be a bumpy ride
Yeah.
when you're dragging your luggage
Yes.
through the streets of Genoa to actually get on the ship. So be mindful of that. And each of us had a bag, a suitcase, and a backpack.
Yep, and that was it.
I couldn't imagine if we had like 2 or 3 bags per
No.
person.
No.
And you're trying to drag that, and your wheels on the luggage
Yep.
is getting messed up,
Yep.
and falling all over the place. Like, it was an adventure, but we did a lot of research.
Yes.
And we stayed close to the port. And so because we didn't pack too heavily, then we were okay.
Which is our other tip.
Yeah.
Tip number 3 is to stay as close as possible to the port.
Right.
Because it's a money-saving hack.
Right.
Now, listen, we did run into a few surprises. We knew the streets were going to be cobblestone. We have friends of ours that have actually lived in Europe.
Right.
So they've been to Italy. They knew, hey, the landscape. They told us have comfortable shoes. What we didn't know is that on the way to the port, that there would be a set of steps that we would have to walk up, because there was no elevator option to get us to the street that we needed to be on in order to take the ship.
Right.
So tip number 3 is stay as close as possible to the port. Why? Because then we only had one flight of stairs that we had to go up. But also, like Mark said, the Mediterranean in the summer is absolutely blazing. It's beautiful,
So
but it is hot.
Yeah.
And if you want to maximize your funds so that you can have money for souvenirs, excursions, you won't now have to pay cab fare and then a tip getting to the port.
Absolutely.
You can just walk it. So you'll have to work all of that out in terms of the time you leave your hotel or Airbnb. But we think one of the best things to do to save money and maximize your budget is to stay as close as possible within walking distance to your ship.
Which is also an opportunity to share a little marriage tip, right? That in marriage, you want to rely on the strength of your spouse.
Right.
And you don't have to do everything. So Jen is the organizer and she had all the documents printed. I'm more of the guy that can plan out where we stay and how long it's going to take to get somewhere. And I have the sense of direction more than you do, right? So I took the lead on where we would stay, how far that is from the port, so that I was kind of handling that aspect. And what we want to say is that sometimes you just have to divide and conquer.
Yeah.
And when your spouse is really, really strong in an area, let them lead.
Absolutely.
You know, we have this machismo thing, we have this macho thing of like, I have to be the leader. And God has given you your spouse so that they can help you and support you. And I think it goes both ways.
It's true, Mark, because I am an organizer, but not in that regard that you're talking about in terms of even finding the best airport for us and all of that. That was all Mark.
Yeah.
But then in terms of thinking of all the different things we would need to pack, which might be another video for another day. Just what do you need to pack, right?
Right.
But I was the one that organized all of that and laid specific things out in the guest bedroom so many times, and he let me lead and he didn't interfere, and it made everyone's trip easier and more enjoyable.
Absolutely.
And it makes your marriage more enjoyable where you let your spouse lead where they are strongest.
Absolutely.
So that's a good one.
So let's go to the next tip.
Yep.
Tip number 4. When you're walking to the ship, you're going to be walking along the boardwalk. And they have shops, and they have gelato, and they
which was so good, by the way.
All these different things that you can stop and just take some memories.
Yeah.
But they also have the locals.
Stranger danger, I like to call it.
They have the locals.
Yeah.
And the locals are there because they're trying to make a living and they're trying to hustle like everybody else. And so they'll offer you things they have made or things they put together. Sometimes it may be even a piece of fruit or something like that. Just know that if you don't want to pay for it, then don't accept it.
Yep. Or they'll even just offer to take your picture. And even then, if you don't want to pay to have your picture taken, don't accept it. You don't have to be rude. You can be friendly still. Just say, no, thank you. We're good. That's what we did. But there was one guy that I engaged in conversation a little bit longer than I think you would have. Because he was like, are you guys from America? But he was from an African country. I don't remember which one. But I was just like, oh, it's a brother. I got to say hi.
Right.
So he was like, oh, are you guys from America? And I was like, yes. He was like, I love America. They're so friendly. And I was like, it depends on where in America you go. But thank you, sir. And you were like, Jay, we have to keep walking.
We have to keep moving. I'm from
but
Jersey.
I didn't take anything from him. And I didn't ask him to take our picture. So I felt like you can't charge me for a conversation.
Yeah. Well, he might be able to find a way.
Right.
Because I'm from Jersey, and so I've walked the streets of New York City
Yeah.
many times.
Yeah.
So I know a hustle from a mile away.
Mm-hmm.
And so even engaging them in conversation,
Yeah.
I'm like, he's going to find a way to try and sell you something.
Yeah.
But we just want to help you out and say, listen, that's what you're going to run into. It's part of the culture.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
You're not going to abduct you.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But if you don't want to help them out and give them a tip,
Yeah.
then just say, no, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take it.
Yeah.
And then wonder why they're asking you for some money.
Correct. Yep. Definitely be aware of that.
Be aware of that.
Which brings me to tip number 5,
Yeah.
since we're talking about things to do on your way to the ship. Try to get the earliest booking time possible.
Right.
So when we booked with MSC, MSC told me, okay, your cruise is booked, but they don't allow you to choose your cruise embarkation time right away.
Right.
They tell you that they'll alert you as to when you can check in. And so when they allow you to check in, you want to be type A personality again. You want to be on that computer the minute they say that check-in begins.
Right.
And so because of that, I think our boarding time was like around 1 p.m., 12 noon, 1 p.m.
Yeah.
But what was great about that is that it gave us enough time to get up slowly, get breakfast, and we knew we were walking to the ship, so we also had enough time to, we didn't choose the earliest embarkation time, but we didn't choose the latest embarkation time.
Good.
But as early as you can possibly manage, that's what you want to do. And that'll lead us into tip 6, but I don't know if you have something else you want to say about early embarkation.
No, I think that's good. I think that's good. Go to tip 6.
So tip 6 is once you get on the ship, take some time to explore the ship.
Right.
So we got on the ship, put our things in our room.
Right.
And then after we soaked up the room for a little bit of time, one thing that we like to do, and our kids look forward to this anytime they're cruising with us, is to explore the ship. So we went and got a quick bite to eat.
Absolutely.
And then from there, we familiarized ourselves with things that we knew we'd be using for the week.
Right.
We knew we'd be going to the theater for shows. So we said, hey, how do we get to the theater from our room? We knew that we were going to be eating in the main dining room and not always the casual dining, but we said, okay, so for breakfast, we're doing the casual dining.
Yeah.
So where do we want to eat?
Right.
And then in the evenings, we had made reservations for the week for the main dining room, but we wanted to know where that is.
Right.
You'll be shocked at how being totally oblivious to where things are on the ship will cost you some time.
Absolutely. And, because you're in Europe and things are a little bit different, and depending on where you are, there may be a language barrier.
Right.
You want to make sure that you familiarize yourself with the ship as early as possible. And I would say here's a bonus one, is pack everything you need for that day with you, meaning in your backpack and not in your luggage that you're going to check in.
Right.
They can sometimes take a little bit longer than you think to bring your luggage up to your room. So if you want to go swimming, pack your bathing suit in your backpack. If you want to change because, it's been a long day, pack a change of clothes in your backpack because you may be looking outside of your door for a long time and realize that your bag isn't there. Then you have to go down to the lobby. Then you have to talk to them. And sometimes there may be a language barrier. You're not understanding the process that they have over there in Europe.
And truth be told, we've
US.
taken enough cruises to know that you really don't want to ever be in a position where you have to tell them that you need your suitcase, because MSC does do a really good job of also saying, hey, make sure you have what you need with you.
Right.
And so I appreciated that, but you're absolutely right. We've never had to, thankfully, go down and say, oh my goodness, I forgot something important in my bag. But even beyond swimming or changing clothes, if you have a certain medication that you have to take by a certain time, have it with you, because once it goes into that big room of suitcases, and they're not on New York, they're not operating on a New York minute.
No.
Okay,
no,
so.
No. So those are some tips to get you going, get you started, and especially leaving from the port city of Genoa.
Yep.
And, you know, listen, we can come back with some details about Genoa, Italy, our time there.
Oh.
It's a really beautiful city, beautiful place.
Yes.
We were able to walk around, take in a little bit of the culture there. So that's really cool. We may come back and do a video on that because I'll also leave you with this. Sometimes you have to be a little creative in how you get to where you're staying to leave from, right? So you get to that port city. You have to be a little bit creative with that because we had to fly into Milan.
Right.
And then we took a train to Genoa instead of flying directly into Genoa because we were able to save some money, save some coins.
And it was considerable amount of money.
Yeah.
That we were able to save. And that is also how we made the decision not to cruise out of the Rome cruise port.
Correct.
Because flying into Rome, of course, was sky high.
Yeah.
So we could have done the same ports, but starting in Rome. But had we done that, it would have been more expensive. And we felt maybe a little bit out of reach.
Right.
So that's another tip for you for your
let's give
marriage.
bonus number 2.
Yeah. Another bonus is you in your marriage in moments like this have to decide, is it more important that I make lasting memories for my marriage and family, or is it more important that I flex? Because the reality is, if you show yourself in a posh Airbnb in Rome and show that you flew into Rome, you're the one that has to foot that Roman bill. So
not a Roman bill.
We flew into, as Mark said, Milan.
Yeah.
We then took a train to Milano Centrale.
Yeah.
Then from Milano Centrale, dropped us off in Genoa. Then from Genoa, we walked to our Airbnb. It was quite an adventure, but guess what? When we came home, we weren't in debt. And so if you don't remember anything else marriage-wise from this video, we want you to remember that it is always important for you to do what's within your reach.
Absolutely.
We even chose a smaller ship.
Right.
That was older. Now it had been refurbished. It was still nice, but it wasn't MSC's newest ship leaving from a European cruise port.
Exactly.
But we chose it because kids were sailing free.
Yeah.
The cruise was affordable.
Let's go.
And within our reach. Your marriage will not be enjoyable if when you get home, you're up to your eyeballs in debt.
That's so good. That's so good. But we want to come back.
Absolutely.
With some other travel tips because we had such a great adventurous just season of vacations.
Absolutely.
And we're going to get into some great details that not only help you travel well, but help you do marriage really, really well.
Yes. And we figured since the spring and summer months will soon be upon us, this was a great time to blend marriage and travel together.
Let's go. Let's go. So listen.
We have a book though, Mark.
Yeah.
We have a book that I want to talk to them about before
let me grab the book.
We have a book, y'all, that you should absolutely grab called Marriage Cheat Codes. And we want you to grab this book for yourself, whether you're single, dating, married, engaged, doesn't matter. This book's going to help you. If you already have a copy, then grab a copy for someone else. It's available on Amazon in the form of paperback or ebook, but it's going to bless you. So I did not want to close out this video without telling you about that. Yeah, this is really good. Go ahead and grab that. But we're going to leave it here for today. And these have been some boarding tips for an MSC cruise leaving from Genoa, Italy. We will catch you next time. Until then, take care.